Hi, very good morning to you. It's Jim from maverickstar Observatory and welcome. Guys, have you actually read this? You can see who published this peer-reviewed paper apparently, but have you actually read this? And all I'm going to say at this point is this is why people in majority around the world believe that man is responsible for changing the climate, for emitting too much CO2. It's because people do no research themselves. They rely on everybody else to do the work, and if they have such as a smidgen, a teeny weeny bit of influence, that's good enough for them. And I'm going to explain why that's not good enough for me, and hopefully in the future you'll be a little bit more investigative into certain claims, such as whether or not there is a relationship between M8 magnitude earthquakes and their occurrences and the solar polar magnetic fields. I'm going to skip all the jargon here, but what we're talking about in general is the magnetic north and south pole of our star, our sun, and whether or not it has an influence on our planet's earthquake activity. And I come down to this equation here and break it down, and what I'll just talk about here is the probability, right? And what it says here, where X represents the probability that an earthquake will fall within a significant window, and there we are in brackets, 41.6%. So we need to know what that 41.6% is because it's bracketed, but what we can look at straight away is the probability, and it equals 0.0000015. Now, what does that number actually mean before we check out what the 41.6% is? Well, the 0.000015 is, as we can see here, the calculated p-value, which is the probability, is, guess what, 1 in 90,000. So the accuracy of predicting earthquakes using this formula and all this work that's been done on this is 1 in 90,000. Would you get on a plane if you knew that you had 1 in 90,000 chance of arriving at your destination safely? Would you cross the road with those probabilities? My point is this, is that you don't read these things. People publish them and they don't explain to you all the ins and outs. And he's going to hate me for doing this, but here is the reality, right? But what we want to know is what the 41.6% there is in the brackets. So there must be a reason for that number being in there. And if we go up to here, we'll just outline where it mentions it. Right, under this hypothesis, one would expect approximately 41.6% of the earthquakes over the time period to fall within the significant window. One would expect. And that's why he's put that number there in the bracket. But he admits the probability of his own predictive tool is 1 in 90,000. And I don't know why he submitted this for peer review. I really don't, because I would have been embarrassed, because what he's actually done is prove that there is no relationship between M8 earthquake occurrences and the solar polar magnetic fields of our sun. And you know what? You shouldn't expect there to be in any case. First of all, he focuses on quite a large magnitude of earthquake, and secondly, a simple experiment would show you that flux, magnetic flux that goes through liquids, solids, has no effect whatsoever when it passes through them. Unless, of course, they're electrical or electronics. And, you know, there it is. In a nutshell, there is no relationship between there. There is a 1 in 90,000 chance of it being accurately used to predict earthquakes. And at that, it's only used to predict M8 earthquakes, magnitude 8. We don't get many of those on this planet. And if you've got an app, let's say you've got an app that predicts earthquakes, and it's 1 in 90,000 % accurate, you might as well throw it away. You might as well get your finger, lick it, and stick it in the ground, and try and read the radio interference frequencies that go through our Earth, as opposed to using this as a predictive tool to measure or predict earthquakes. You know what? This is exactly what politicians do. But you know what? People don't do your own research, and therefore you're never going to find out things like this. You know, the reason why I did this is because of what this person done on our channel, on his channel, sorry, a week ago. So, you know, he deserves this. But you know, more so, his subscribers need to understand that there is no way you can predict earthquakes through studying the magnetic intensities of the solar polar fields. He even admits it himself. There's a 1 in 90,000 chance, or 1 in 90,000 probability. And now you know why he added the 41.6%. It's because it's an expected approximately number. Trust me, everything you need to know about our star at the centre of our solar system is here on this page that we've dedicated for you guys to come and have a look free of charge. It's there, and this is just one of the pages on our websites that cover a lot of the anomalies that take place with not just our solar system, but with our own Earth, and those anomalies like the Earth going through a magnetic reversal. You can look at Schumann frequencies, you can look at sea ice extents, you can look at satellite images of weather. It's all on here. And if there's information related to the sun and you need to know about it, it's on here. You've got the KP index, you've got the aurora, you've got the WASO app here that shows you where the solar flares are, going at any particular time. And I'll just say this, if we did ever experience a major CME come off the sun, we have very little time to prepare for that in any case. You probably have, at the most, 2 days, and that is if we don't experience something like a Carrington event, because what made the devastating CME so much worse was that there was another coronal mass ejection before that one that cleared the debris, so that the second one could arrive much quicker. So you'd have probably at the best 2 days notice. And if there was a major eruption off the sun, trust me, it'd be all over the news. It really would. And if it wasn't all over the news, channels like this one here would be screaming that information to you. Like I say, if you want to daily check the information, go over to the poleshiftnews.com website. We've got it here. And if you are interested in other anomalies, then we cover them already on this website. It's free. You're under no obligation to support what we do here at this observatory, but what we do, and what you should know by now, guys, is we don't just talk about the nonsense that is regurgitated daily on a lot of the YouTube channels. We actually collect our own data using our own equipment, and we put that up there for your speculation as well as our own.